Back in January, I made a video of the WWE and its current storylines for anybody that wanted to get back into wrestling. And since my last video, the amount of people watching wrestling has skyrocketed and is pretty much close to mainstream media at this point. The amount of people going to wrestling shows live and the amount of people watching at home has just gotten exponentially bigger. So if there's any time to get into professional wrestling, it is now. So in today's video, we're going to make a 6-month update to my previous video back in January. So that way, anybody that wants to get into wrestling this summer can quickly do so, especially going into Summerslam. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way you get some of the best wrestling content out there. We're trying to post more content as we go for YouTube partner. As you watch this, keep in mind characters, roster members, rumors, storylines, and champions can change at any time. And just like in my previous video, I will not be talking about NXT or AEW, but there are a few things from NXT that I would like to mention. And by the time you watch this video, there might be something a little different, something changed, maybe new champion, new members, new roster people, you never know. But this is current as of July 20th, which is when this video was recorded. And if you have any questions about anything that I speak about on this video, whether it's storylines, a particular character, or whatever, be sure to let me know down in the comments, and either myself or somebody in the community can help you out. So without further ado, let's get started. So for those that don't know, WWE currently is owned by a company named TKO, which also owns the UFC. WWE sold it to Endeavor, which is the parent company, and now is owned by TKO. At the time of January's video, Vince McMahon was a board member on the TKO board, but has since sold all of his shares, and at this moment is no longer involved with the WWE in any way, shape, or form. This is also the first time in history that a McMahon is not in charge of anything. This has come after Vince McMahon's alleged lawsuit going on from Janelle Grant, claiming abuse during employment. Regarding Triple H, he is still head of creative. He is the chief creative officer, and it's probably going to be that way for a very long time. And now let's talk about the champions currently in the WWE. So currently the WWE Undisputed Champion is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, who is currently on SmackDown. Your World Heavyweight Champion is Damian Priest after cashing in his Money in the Bank at WrestleMania against Drew McIntyre. The current WWE Tag Team Champions are DIY after defeating Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, who had won the belts at WrestleMania, defeating A-Town Down Under in Toronto, Canada, on an episode of SmackDown. The World Tag Team Champions are currently the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough, after Liv Morgan helped get the Awesome Truth to lose the titles. The current WWE Women's Champion is Bayley after defeating Io Sky at WrestleMania. The current Women's World Champion is Liv Morgan after Rhea Ripley had to relinquish the title. Becky Lynch ended up winning the title shortly after, and Liv Morgan defeated her for the belt. Your current Intercontinental Champion is Sami Zayn after defeating Gunther at WrestleMania, ending Gunther's undefeated streak. His title reign. The current United States Champion is still Logan Paul, and he has only defended the title twice, which is ridiculous. So on top of the championships, we have the men's and women's Money in the Bank briefcase. The men's Money in the Bank was Drew McIntyre, but he lost the same night after CM Punk interfered in his cash-in. So right now, there's no men's briefcase until next year. And the women's Money in the Bank is currently Tiffany Stratton, who is currently rumored to try and cash in on Bayley. And then an added bonus to this video is the King and Queen of the Ring. So earlier on this year, we had the King and Queen of the Ring event in Saudi Arabia. Gunther is your King of the Ring and Nia Jax is your Queen of the Ring. Both of those individuals do get a championship match at SummerSlam in a few weeks. So now that we have all the champions in play, how do you watch WWE? So I'm going to talk about that real quick. For Friday Night SmackDown, you can watch SmackDown on Fox at 8 p.m. Eastern. However, later on this year, they will be moving to USA. Monday Night Raw can currently be found on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and they can be found on the USA Network. However, they will be moving in January over to Netflix. NXT can currently be found on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on the USA Network. And they are currently scheduled to move to the CW Network later on this year. And for PLE's paid live events, you can find those on the Peacock app if you are in the US, but if you are outside of the US, you can find it on the WWE Network. Now, as mentioned before, I probably won't get everything in this video, so if there's something that I missed or something important that I really should be talking about, let me know down in the comments and I'll talk about it in a future video. Now let's talk about the important events that have happened since January's video that are very important going into today's storyline. So obviously one of the biggest events to happen after January was WrestleMania 40, which was one of the biggest WrestleMania shows of all time. Both nights going absolutely insane. On night 2, Cody Rhodes finally ended Roman Reigns' title reign to become the WWE Undisputed Champion. And since WrestleMania, Roman Reigns has not been on WWE TV, but he is scheduled for a return, hopefully by SummerSlam. The Rock did not get his match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 due to the We Want Cody movement. However, that did not stop The Rock from competing at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania Night 1, he ended up competing with Roman Reigns in a tag team match against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. If Cody Rhodes' team won, the Bloodline was banned from ringside for his match against Roman Reigns at Night 2. However, if the Bloodline won, it would be Bloodline rules. They could do whatever they want. And The Rock did put on a show, so I will give him props for that. But since WrestleMania, The Rock has been gone from WWE TV. He actually injured his shoulder during some movie filming, so we probably won't see him for a while, maybe until next year. The Bloodline story is still going on. However, it is run by Solo Sikoa, and it's considered the new Bloodline, not under Roman Reigns, since Roman Reigns has been absent since WrestleMania, and is rumored to be a heel faction that is eventually going to go up against the original Bloodlines, Roman and the Usos. Unfortunately, LA Knight's hype did die down just a little bit. I feel like WWE should have pulled the trigger on LA Knight at this point, but he is still loved by the crowd, and at the moment he is currently feuding against Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Jey Uso is now the most popular character in WWE with his Yeet catchphrase. We spoke about it in January's video also, how Yeet is his catchphrase. It has astronomically gotten more popular in terms of merch sales, the people saying it, and it's just been amazing to just go all out with his theme song. CM Punk unfortunately got injured during his first official televised event back at the Royal Rumble, being injured by Drew McIntyre and getting a torn tricep. He has not competed in the WWE since, but he has still been involved in storylines and commentary also, and has been feuding with Drew McIntyre for the entire time. It's been amazing to see the shit talking between the two, and I can't wait until CM Punk finally faces Drew McIntyre, hopefully at SummerSlam. And to end off the important events going on, the international events have been absolutely amazing. If you guys saw Backlash, Money in the Bank, Saudi Arabia, the crowds went absolutely insane with the crowd chants and just singing and just the pops that go on during the shows. So if you see that a PLE is international in Europe or something like that, you know it's going to be a good time. So those are some of the important events going on in terms of like backstage and just information for you to know. But now I want to talk about the current storylines going on in the WWE, both for Raw and for SmackDown. So as mentioned before, the new Bloodline is currently owned by Solo Sikoa. Recently, he's been talking a lot of crap towards Roman Reigns, saying that Solo is the new tribal chief. He even has Roman Reigns' lay as if he is the new leader. The current Bloodline consists of Solo Sikoa as the leader, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, both of the brothers from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and we have Jacob Fatu, which is the newest member. Paul Heyman is no longer his wise man after the new Bloodline absolutely demolished him a few weeks ago at Madison Square Garden. They've been on a rampage going up against Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens, a dynamic trio, and now we're going to see at SummerSlam Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes for that WWE Undisputed Championship. Will he win? Who knows? Will Roman return and interfere? We'll have to find out in a few weeks. At this point, no one really likes Solo as the tribal chief, but I personally think he's doing a great job. Getting over the crowd with his boos and the FU solos and everything like that. So great job to Solo, but I acknowledge my tribal chief like right there. One of the biggest storylines going on Monday Night Raw is Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. The week after WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley injured her shoulder due to Liv Morgan. Storyline, of course. And because of that, Rhea Ripley had to relinquish her women's world title, and that ended up starting up the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. But in that process, Liv Morgan found a way to get into Dominic Mysterio's head, and since then, they've basically been lovers behind the scenes. And it's just been hilarious seeing Liv Morgan just show Dominic that she is like practically in love with him, basically kissing him at one end of Monday Night Raw, getting on top of him, getting ready to like go full on tongue kissing and everything. It was wild. And even convincing the Judgment Day to hang out in the clubhouse, even getting Finn Balor and JD McDonough's blessings, I guess, after they were able to win the World Tag Team titles from R-Truth and The Miz. Damian Priest smelled bullshit and called it out, and finally Rhea Ripley, as of 2 weeks ago, has returned from her injury and is basically calling out Dom as a cheater. Not in those exact words, but why did you betray me like that, Dom? But now that Rhea is back, Rhea will be facing Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship at SummerSlam. Liv Morgan was calling Dominic her daddy Dom, pushing him onto a couch and basically stretching his legs out, feeding him chicken nuggets, and playing WWE 2K24 all night through Monday Night Raw, giving him her hotel key and saying, you got to take off the vest for me. Like, she really trying to get him in trouble and trying to get him to fold. But anyway, this is basically a telenovela. Another big storyline going on is the Wyatt Six. Obviously, as you guys know, unfortunately, Bray Wyatt last year passed away, and his brother Bo Dallas is now the leader of the Wyatt Six as Uncle Howdy, and has been doing very cryptic messages every week on Monday Night Raw through VHS tapes, and at the same time haunting Chad Gable, who they say has lied to them and just betrayed him in some way. The Wyatt Six debuted in an amazing way, basically having the camera guy go through the back of Gorilla and just everybody slaughtered in that production room, including Chad Gable. And since then, it's just been wild with him. They haven't attacked Chad Gable since, but it's interesting to see what's going to happen. They've also been haunting Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show, hacking his show and basically saying that Pat's lied about something. So we'll have to see what happens there too. We have Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. This has been building up since January, since Drew McIntyre unfortunately injured him, and it's just been back and forth and back and forth. Currently, Drew McIntyre is suspended because he refused to apologize to referees after assaulting all of them weeks before at Money in the Bank. CM Punk cost Drew McIntyre the Money in the Bank briefcase and also cost Drew McIntyre the World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest, being the referee and counting to 2 before just staring at him. This buildup has been one of the best buildups of 2024, and I'm excited to see what goes down at SummerSlam, if it happens at SummerSlam. At Money in the Bank a few weeks back, John Cena made a surprise return and unfortunately let us all know that in 2025, he will be retiring from the WWE, with the Royal Rumble being his final Rumble, WrestleMania being his final WrestleMania match. So of course, thank you, John Cena, for all you've done, but this is going to be a very emotional ride. At WrestleMania, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller won the WWE Tag Team titles, and since then, it seems like they've been teasing Grayson Waller and Austin Theory splitting up, with Grayson Waller being the one that gets out of the way while Austin Theory takes all of the hits. I feel like Austin Theory is eventually just going to get tired of it and smack Grayson Waller in the face, and that's going to split them up, or maybe have them fight at SummerSlam. We never know. Nia Jax is currently feuding with Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship since she won the Queen of the Ring match against Lyra Valkyria, and real-life best friend Tiffany Stratton and her are now forming an alliance, with Tiffany having the briefcase as they go and try to jump Bayley or try to act like they're better than Bayley, but it's just been non-stop week after week of meeching. Who do y'all think is going to win between Nia Jax and Bayley at SummerSlam? Let me know down in the comments. Damian Priest is now the World Heavyweight Champion, and he is set to face Gunther at SummerSlam since Gunther won the King of the Ring match a few months ago. However, they have been teasing Finn Balor betraying Damian Priest because of the fact that Finn feels like Damian Priest is on a power trip and has been abusing the Judgment Day members. There's definitely some jealousy there, and I feel like Finn Balor wishes he was the World Heavyweight Champion, but they've been teasing week after week after week. Why is Damian Priest trying to put me in my place? And then finally, Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. Braun Breaker has been on a freaking tirade, attacking everybody in his path, giving Adam Pearce some of the biggest headaches he's ever had in his life. And I'm sure it's set right now for Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. I'm surprised Braun Breaker lost at Money in the Bank, but I could see him winning here at SummerSlam, and it wouldn't make sense for Sami Zayn to win at SummerSlam. So I hope Braun Breaker wins. So those are the current storylines for the main roster. However, I do want to talk real quick about something going on in NXT. If you guys don't know what NXT is, it is the developmental brand for professional wrestlers that want to get onto the main roster. NXT recruits a lot of athletes and just actors and people that want to get into wrestling business and trains them to go to the main roster. But as of recently, NXT has formed a relationship with TNA. Yes, TNA Impact, and recently had Jordynne Grace and Joe Hendry appear on the show. Jordynne Grace put on one hell of a performance at the Royal Rumble, so the WWE brought her back to face Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship, and Joe Hendry made a surprise appearance for the NXT Battle Royal probably about a month or two ago. And since then, Joe Hendry has been featured several other times. I could see him eventually being in the Royal Rumble next year. But this opens up the gates for a lot of superstars to face each other, for WWE stars to go to TNA, TNA stars to go to WWE, and just make a forbidden door that is similar to AEW with New Japan. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Chef Shawn Michaels brings us next. So with all the storylines out of the way, there's 3 people that I want to talk about that are currently over on WWE, and I've mostly mentioned them already, but here are the 3. We have Jey Uso. As you guys know, he does the yeet, and if you guys didn't know, yeet is his catchphrase. He has the blue shirt on usually, or the white with the blue, and everybody in the crowd usually will do this alongside with him when his music is going. A lot of times now he even comes through the crowd. So there's like a specific spot in the arena that he comes down, or he comes through like the concession stand, and everybody's just cheering on with him. It's such an amazing thing to see. Tiffany Stratton was drafted from NXT to Friday Night SmackDown back at the WWE draft, and since then she has been one of the most popular and over women in the women's division. With her catchphrase, "It's Tiffy time," and just everybody just going and loving her. She has been very talented at what she's been doing at Friday Night SmackDown. And now with the Money in the Bank briefcase, is Tiffany Stratton going to become WWE Women's Champion? Is she going to cash in soon or at WrestleMania? We could see her champion very soon. And just getting into the roster is just wild. And then finally, Chelsea Green, who is a personal favorite of mine. They definitely need to put her over if they can. She made one hell of a performance at Money in the Bank. She's a former women's tag team champion, and she's just so entertaining and funny to watch. So if you're watching this WWE, Please push Chelsea. And I think what also helped too was Samantha Irving's version of her announcement with the Chelsea green. And ever since then, everybody's just loved her. All right, I know that's a lot. So if you have to pause this video at any time or go back to it, you're more than welcome to. Ask me questions if you'd like down in the comments. But now I'm going to talk about the expected rumors that are going on in the WWE, as well as expected dates for the next PLEs coming down. And just keep in mind, these are rumors. These may or may not happen. There might be some twists to them. So don't take this as fact. Take these as just rumors that could happen, but may or may not. So one of the first rumors is that Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns are returning at, before, or shortly after SummerSlam, which makes sense because Solo Sikoa has been talking so much crap about Roman Reigns, and at the SmackDown after WrestleMania, the new bloodline did destroy Jimmy Uso, putting him out of action, which was technically just some time off. There's rumors that even more bloodline members might show up, such as Lantana Hawaii and the final brother of the Tongans. People have been saying also Zilla Fatu, who is Umaga's son. However, I personally feel like since he just started wrestling, I don't think WWE is going to get him in just for the bloodline story. If they do bring Zilla Fatu in, it's because they have something planned for him big. But they probably just want to get him some wrestling experience first before they actually bring him in. So Zilla, keep doing your thing. You're doing fantastic. Because of this, they think that there's going to be Survivor Series War Games with the new bloodline versus the OG bloodline. They think that Roman Reigns and the Usos could reunite and face the Solo Sikoa and the Tongans at Survivor Series in a War Games match, which would be absolutely amazing. Another rumor is Alexa Bliss is returning to WWE soon as a part of the Wyatt Six. Could that happen? I don't know. Or maybe she's returning as just a regular member of the women's division. We'll just have to find out. And another surprise that people think is going to happen after SummerSlam is that Charlotte Flair will be returning. In my last video, we talked about Charlotte Flair did have an injury and she hasn't returned since. So hopefully she does after SummerSlam. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the scheduled dates going on for the next WWE PLEs. And once again, PLE stands for Paid Live Event. They are events that you can find on Peacock or the WWE Network. They are WWE's big events where the big matches happen. Shortly after WrestleMania, WWE announced that WrestleMania 41 will take place on April 19th and April 20th in Las Vegas at the Allegiant Stadium, as well as next year's Royal Rumble will be in Indianapolis, as well as a future SummerSlam and a future WrestleMania 2. SummerSlam will be happening in Cleveland, Ohio, and will be happening on Saturday, August 3rd. Bash in Berlin will be Saturday, August 30th, and will be in Berlin, Germany. WWE brought back WWE Bad Blood, which will be happening in Atlanta, Georgia, Cody Rhodes' home, on October 5th. And Saudi Arabia's second show will be on November 2nd, 2024, which will be Crown Jewel. And if you're wondering why WWE goes to Saudi Arabia twice a year, it's because they have a contract with them for 10 years where they put on 2 shows a year, and basically Saudi pays them ridiculous amounts of money, more than WrestleMania. So they go twice a year to perform for the Saudi crowd. And last but not least, Survivor Series is scheduled to take place in Los Angeles. However, the date is to be determined. Some of the new superstars that have joined WWE since my last video are Jacob Fatu, who is huge in the independent scene, especially Major League Wrestling and Game Changer Wrestling, and is a member of the Anoa'i family. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa coming in from New Japan Pro Wrestling to the WWE, also joining the new bloodline with Solo Sikoa. Tama Tonga joined the SmackDown after WrestleMania, and Tonga Loa joined at Backlash. Ethan Page has left AEW and is now on NXT. Julia is joining the WWE, hopefully very soon, under the NXT brand. Stephanie Valkyria has also joined the WWE, leaving CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and will now be a part of the NXT brand after making her debut at a Mexico City WWE Super Show. And finally, the ring announcers haven't really changed that much. For Monday Night Raw, Samantha Irvin is still the ring announcer for Monday Night Raw. However, for SmackDown is now Alicia Taylor, who was the former NXT ring announcer. And then I didn't talk about this in my previous video, but I'm sure you guys could probably use some great sources to get your information from the WWE. So I compiled a list also of places that I would recommend that I personally go to for all my wrestling rumors and news and announcements and stuff like that. So obviously WWE.com is the best place to go for all confirmed rumors and announcements and matches that are going on your Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and paid live events. However, some other places that I would recommend are Sportskeeda, Fightful, Ringside News, WrestleLamia, WrestleWorld CC, and Wrestling News Co. So I know this is a lot, guys. So as mentioned before, stop the video if you have to, ask questions. Feel free to DM me if you have me on some sort of social media. I'm more than happy to help you guys out, so that way you're all caught up in the wrestling world. I have a lot of friends on my Twitch chat and YouTube chat and just in social media that watch me post all these wrestling videos all the freaking time and want to support, but they have no idea what's going on. So I feel like a lot of these videos help out, and I hope that it helps you out as well. The next video I make in this series will probably be in the beginning of 2025 as Monday Night Raw goes to Netflix, and I'll keep you guys posted on when that video will be available. And that's the end of the video, guys. If you guys made it to the end, I appreciate you. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. That way you get some of the best wrestling out there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and a like. And with that, my friends, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.